Welcome back to the Cosmo Within You podcast. Today we're going to talk about how tough it is for us to accept when we are wrong. Seriously, it is rough to accept your own mistakes and to admit that you need help. We really have a hard time doing that. I was thinking about it lately, and I have 3 points where I believe why we struggle with trying to accept our mistakes and trying to accept help from others. So let's get right into it. Welcome to the Cosmo Within You podcast, dedicated to the young adults who are trying to seek balance and guidance to find that power within. Enjoy the show, guys. So the first point that I want to point out is, as young adults, we really want to desire independence and autonomy. Those are really big things that we want to accomplish as a young adult because we are trying to figure it out and we are trying to find out our path. What's our purpose? Why are we here? What am I good at? What am I not? But throughout all of that, we want to think that we know it all. We want to say, I got it. I know where I'm going. I know how to get there. I don't need nobody to tell me how to get there. So I'm going to do it by myself. And that is not going to work all the time. And while we are trying to gain independence and autonomy, we need to let go of the sense of control. Having a sense of control with everything can take into a negative energy because you are not open to things when they do not go your way, and you are resisting every time, meaning you're resisting to change, you're resisting to what is really meant for you because you are so stuck on the fact that you want to know it all, and you're not going to admit when you're wrong. You're not going to admit that you're not doing the right choices, saying the right things, communicating efficiently, and that's something that is really hindering us from our growth. So relinquishing control and admitting dependence, which would mean you admit that you do need guidance on certain things. You want to be guided correctly, but that's going to entail for you to ask for help. Asking for help is not a bad thing. It's a good thing. But due to our society, it's looked at as weakness. So that's the first point that I've been noticing with us, the young adults, trying to have the desire of independence and autonomy. But that really does require us to lose the sense of control. We really need to get rid of the sense of control. And we need to admit sometimes when we need help, and we need to admit to our mistakes. It's going to challenge our self-sufficiency, but that is the way to grow. That is the way to get better. My second point that I saw from this problem that we do have is the fear of vulnerability. Vulnerability is looked at as a weakness. It is not. It is not. Everybody struggles to try and figure out who they are. And in order to be successful, in order to be self-sufficient, you do need to go through obstacles, through painful situations, to committing errors. And we need to be okay with that. We need to be okay with the process of asking for help because nobody's perfect and you will not know everything. You will not know how to approach certain situations, certain problems that pop up randomly in life. You know, you're so stuck sometimes on one path, and that's okay. You work towards it, you guide yourself through it the best way that you know how. But there will always be some problem, some obstacle that comes in your way or gets in your way, and it gets you frustrated, and it starts testing those emotions, that mindset that you have. So I do believe fear of vulnerability is part of this issue of not wanting to admit when you're wrong and not accepting help. A third one that I have also noticed is the social pressure and expectations that we have, especially in social media. Social media, a lot of us tend to only show our successful side of things, our competent things, our self-sufficient area. Basically, we only expose our idolized version of ourselves. That's all we show, you know. And it's good to just show sometimes the good things about your journey, but we need to admit that there are tough times during that journey. It's not all perfect. You do have those moments where you doubt yourself. You don't know where you're going, if you're doing it right, if you're making the right choice. But if we don't share how we go through obstacles during our journey, during that journey of reaching success, how will you be able to help others? You need to be able to relate to people, be able to guide others. Because when you are in the spot where you don't know where you're going, where you don't know what you're doing, when you know you're committing mistakes and you're not willing to say, hey, you know what? I know I'm doing it wrong. I am not approaching this appropriately. I will do my best next time. And then you're seeking the help. How? What can you change? What behaviors can you change in order to become better? And then once you learn those skills, once you learn that new mindset, the growth mindset, you are able to motivate the people behind you, the people that are going to experience similar situations, that are now going to need guidance to be able to overcome whatever it may be. You are a really good help because through people we learn, through successful people we learn, because a lot of the big out like known successful people will tell you they did have their falls, they did have their errors and trials, but they overcame them with courage. They overcame them by asking and observing those who they look up to. What are they doing that I'm not doing? What are they doing that I need to change? What mindset do I have that is not helping me grow? So, these three things I do really feel affect us as young adults to be able to approach life in a different way, to be able to approach our own mistakes and approach the fact that it is okay to seek help. So, again, desire for independence and autonomy really gets in our way, really gets into our head. Fear of vulnerability. Vulnerability is not weakness, it is a strength to have because you're admitting to something that you're not good at. You're admitting your faults and you are willing to change. And the third point that I think prevents us from really reaching that pinnacle to be able to admit to our mistakes and accept help is social pressure and expectations. Just think about these things, observe your life, how these three things may hinder you from accepting help from others, from accepting your mistakes. Now, I do want to share with you ways how to be able to overcome these things that have helped me and they can potentially help you, you know? The first way that helped me become more in tune with myself to be able to be okay with accepting my mistakes and accepting that I'm not perfect is cultivating self awareness. When you cultivate self awareness, you're able to know what triggers you, what doesn't trigger you, and you can reflect on your behavior and motivations. And during this process, you're able to recognize what emotions you're feeling when you are committing a mistake and somebody's calling you out on it. Do you become defensive? Do you become offended? Are you really listening to the feedback or are you reacting to the feedback? That's two different things. You know, defensive mechanism, you immediately want to defend yourself. You are not listening to the person that's providing feedback to you where you are not approaching things the right way, or somebody close to you, a friend, your mom, your parent are telling you, why are you reacting this way? It doesn't serve you well. Why are you being rude? When we hear things from other people that they're trying to tell us what we are doing wrong, but at the same time, they are trying to help us to recognize our mistakes, we usually tend to get offended. We tend to get uncomfortable because we know we're doing something wrong and we don't like admitting it. So then our ego comes into play. Our ego defends us. Our ego tries to tell us, hey, they're wrong. Don't let them put you down. When really it could be somebody who's uplifting you and helping you become a better person. A second tip is to normalize imperfections. We need to help our society normalize imperfections, especially young adults. When you understand that making mistakes and needing help are natural patterns and natural paths in life, it's going to change completely your mindset. We learn through mistakes, we learn through failures, and that's what helps us reach the pinnacle of success. Because due to those failures, you were able to learn what didn't work out for you, and therefore you utilize that lesson to your future. So whenever you encounter a same situation, you know what did not work out for you. Therefore, you approach certain things differently. Also, admitting to your mistakes, that makes you more resilient, more courageous, and you change because you do want to become better. So normalizing imperfections can really help you view your errors as opportunities. And this is really talked about with big motivational speakers such as Margarita Pasos, which works next with Brian Tracy. They really point out themselves how failures do not exist, really, only lessons, because lessons help you become a better person and help you learn to grow. A third tip that I want to share is building supportive relationships. Question who's around you. Who are your friends? Are the friends that are around you typically putting people down and judging others? Or are your friends the ones who are willing to hear you out, give you a piece of advice, tell you the truth, whether you are right or wrong, and allow you to become a better person and grow, and they don't judge you? They hear you out and tell you, hey, you know what? Yeah, you messed up. But what are you going to do about it now? How are you going to change? How are you going to get better? What can you get out of this lesson? All right, you committed the mistakes, but come on, let's go. Let's get to it. Let's change this mindset so you can progress and move forward. They don't encourage you to stay in that ball of guilt, in that ball of victim mode. They actually want you to get out of there and grow and elevate. Really important. Whoever you hang out with, whoever you talk to is a really important part in your life, is a really important factor in your life because people influence you without you even knowing. If you're telling somebody, hey, like I committed a mistake with this situation, this is what's happening, these are the consequences I'm going through, and all they have to say are negative things, all they genuinely have to say is how much you are a failure, how much you suck, or they're not even encouraging you in any way, you need to question what type of friend you have. You need supportive friends. You need a supportive individual in your life that is able to hear you out, is able to understand or try to understand, have some empathy towards your choices. Not everybody's the same. Everybody acts differently to different situations. But the fact that your friends or your close family members are able to hear you, to guide you, not judge you, and just support you, those are the people that you need to have around your circle. It really affects your energy and it really affects your mindset. And lastly, honestly, seek professional help. If you feel that admitting your mistakes and seeking help gives you some sort of anxiety, some sort of distress, you really need to seek professional help because therapists and counselors can help you come up with coping strategies. They can help you build skills for overcoming barriers to accepting and helping and admitting your faults. Therapists have a lot of skills and education to be able to help others in a lot of areas in your life. And why not seek the help if you are able and if you have the resources? It's not a form of weakness, that's strength. You're taking this opportunity to become a better person and help those around you and have a better communication skill set with others. And your life just starts evolving in a positive way rather than a negative way where you're consistently putting yourself down. So seek professional help. So again, the 4 tips that I'm sharing with you right now: cultivate self-awareness, normalize imperfections, build supportive relationships, and seek professional help. These 4 things I really do think will help you in some way, shape, or form. If you have any more tips for others to read about, put them in the comments below. But just remember, humans make mistakes. We are not perfect. We don't know it all. We were not born with a dictionary in our heads. Impossible. We learn as we go. We learn through trial and error. And we learn from others if we are willing to open up our mind and our hearts for constructive criticism. And instead of taking it personal, take it as a form of gratitude that you actually have people around you that are willing to help you, are willing to see you grow and inspire you and believe more in you than you believe in yourself. Anything that you put your mind to, you can obtain. Remember, you're not perfect. You don't need to be. We learn as we go. and the cosmos within you is the power within you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're listening to me on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, please rate my podcast, share my podcast, comment below. What do you think about it so far? It's been fun actually making these videos because it's actually been helping me talk better, communicate better, and think of topics that I would want to share with you all and share with you my experiences as well what has helped me become who I am today. Also, if you're looking at me through YouTube, like my channel, subscribe to my channel, like my episodes. I really appreciate it if you share my content, if you like it, if this resonates with somebody that you know. Given the link, share this video. And again, we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for listening, guys. Have a great day.